This is the box centering challenge. So very often you'll get a CSS test where it's center a box inside of the page. It'll be like a 200 by 200 pixel colored box, and your job is to put it right in the center of whatever page they've set up. The problem with this is that it's not very realistic, and it misses a couple really good opportunities to talk about things like stacking context. Stacking context is how things are allowed to overlap inside of the browser, how the browser lets that happen. And there's a couple ways to trigger a stacking context. The most obvious would be position absolute, right? So in this example, the goal is to create a hero. It'll actually look like this down here. We have some white text centered on an image. There's even an overlay on top of here. There isn't here. And it's all just centered up, which is really nice. So style the hero to match the mock image. Text should be centered above image. SCSS is available if you want it. As a bonus, make it responsive. Make it so that you can right align the text. So right now it's centered in this image. Maybe you want it all the way over here along the right edge, okay? Markup is very simple. So we have a hero. Hero heading contains all of our text. Hero image contains our image. And that is really it, other than the sample image, okay? Some help text. This image down here is 866, so in a while I will try to move this to 866-ish, and we'll see if it actually works. The image overlay is black at 50%. The minimum height of the hero should be 50 VH, okay? So starting right off of the bat, we can set that up to be 50 VH, right? That's minimum height of 50 VH. Just take that one right away so that we don't have to worry about it anymore. You'll notice that there's that white edge here. We don't really want that. Let's go and get rid of it by going margin 0. And now we're set to begin. Traditionally, we'd use position absolute for this. In order to use position absolute, we need that stacking context. Very important. We're going to put things on top of each other. So here we need the stacking context to be relative to the hero. If we just start doing position absolute, that stacking context will be relative to the body, and that's not what we want. So we go position relative, which sets us up for that success. Now we're going to use some SAS magic just to help us along with getting the heading in place. The heading is going to be position absolute, top of 50%, left of 50%, which puts it right here in the middle of this rectangle. That's not where we want it. We want it back here a little bit. So along with this position absolute, we use transform. And the reason that we use transform is because the top and left go from the stacking context corner up here. But translate operates from the width and height of this heading. And that's what we want. So this is getting us in the right place, and then this is backing it out 50% of the width of whatever heading is. So minus 50% here with a comma, minus 50% again, brings us right up, whoops, percent symbol, need those symbols. And that should put us in the middle. Why isn't it? Oh, because I misspelled transform. My bad. There we go. Puts us in the middle. It's not centered. We can center it really fast. Text align center. Not a problem. Very easy. The text is actually white. We can get that out of the way. Color, white. And if you look really carefully, there is a box shadow on here. Not a box shadow, a text shadow, sorry. Text shadow of black. So we'll just go text shadow of 0, 2 pixels, 0, black. There it is. Just punches it away a little bit. So that's good, but we don't have the overlay. We need that overlay. So let's go and get that. We're going to put it right above the heading just to keep things nice and tidy. We're going to use after for that. And there's a couple ways that we can do this, but underneath it all, we need some sort of content. Content holds the door open, right? This is all generated for us by the browser. But by leaving this empty, it holds the door open for us. Otherwise, after wouldn't really work. A requirement of after is to use content. Now we're there, okay? Position absolute again. This time we'll just go top 0, bottom 0, left 0, right 0, just like this. We can't see anything because we haven't added any sort of visual thing to help with that. So background color can be black, and opacity can be 0.5, which is our black at 50%, black at 50%. You'll notice that it is over top of the text, and that's because of the stacking context. So the text being way up here comes before our after element, which is somewhere right in here, okay? And in order to get around that, we can just go to the heading and say, hey, heading, be a little bit higher in the stacking context, and it works, okay? From here, we can simplify it a little bit. We don't actually need this. We can just go HSLA of 0%, 0%, 0.5, whoops, don't forget the comma, 0.5. Get rid of this right here, and it is back to normal. Not quite though, because the image sits really high compared to down in the sample image. We can fix that by going down here and saying image, but not the image container, the image itself. We want it to be width 100%, height 100%, and object fit of cover, which puts us in the exact same spot. From here, I can go and find that 860, where is it here? Right in about here, 866. And you'll see that it looks really nice. There's a few issues. Something's going on here, a little bit of gray or something, right? And it is not responsive. In fact, you'll see that this breaks quite bad if I go too small, okay? Same thing with the text. If I had extra text in here, maybe 3 paragraphs of lorem, just like this. And if I try to make this resize, well, it doesn't. In fact, it's kind of poking out the sides, isn't it? We can fix that really quick by going width of 100%, like this. But that still doesn't help us, okay? It's still breaking because of how position absolute works. Position absolute removes things from the normal flow of the document, which means that this child container has no idea what its surrounding contents are doing. It's like it ran out of credit on its cell phone or something like that. It just has no idea what all of its friends are doing, okay? So we're going to fix that really fast. Let's comment this out for a second. I might use that again, but let's start again. So let's get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of position absolute. We don't need that. That can just go away. Position absolute down here. All of this, even the transform, just like that, gone. Okay, we're back to normal. My preferred way, that was a good solution, and a lot of people use that. You might have tried it yourself. My preferred solution is to use grid. And the reason that I like grid is because A, it creates that stacking context, and B, it stays responsive. So you can already see something happening, but display grid, we are going to use a grid area. My autocomplete is not doing its thing, but that's okay. And we are going to make everything in here attach itself to grid area A. Okay, so there it is. It's starting to do something. There's something weird going on here. I'm not sure what that is. Let's center this really quick. Place items, center, just like that. So something going on. What is going on? Do you know? Well, first we can't see our text because stacking context, the image comes after the text. The text is under the image. So again, we can set this to 2, which brings our text back up. And something funny going on with the image. And where is our overlay, right? Both those should have played in. Well, it's because I kind of did a thing here with this place items. When you use any sort of alignment or justification, which is what place items is, it's a shorthand for both of those, it makes the size of those boxes the minimum that they can be, okay? So if I get rid of this really fast, you'll see that all of a sudden things are starting to pop into place. The after isn't because I haven't told after where to be. So for some reason, when we use this star, it doesn't target anything in the after. We can fix that really fast by going and after. And now we are almost back to normal. We just need to do something about the heading, and we can do that directly on the heading itself. So place self on center. Back to normal, okay? We have center twice here. That's kind of weird. So let's go and just knock that away by using a variable of center. Right here, we're going to go $align, and down here, $align. Good, okay? What did I miss? Oh, I missed a semicolon. There it is. Okay, back to normal. So again, if we bring this out to 866-ish, right about here, everything is good, okay? If I uncomment this, these paragraphs here, and they'll show up again. Now when we resize this, you'll see that it actually starts to push the box, which is really cool. Nothing is busting out of here. Again, it's pushing up against that. That's a really easy fix. We can just go margin of 1em, and it pushes away. And now everything looks kind of okay, right? We don't really need these paragraphs. Let's get rid of them. Final bonus. So we've made it responsive. Where is it here? We've made it responsive. We've matched the image. Now to figure out how to right align stuff. If you thought that doing this was the right way, you aren't wrong, but we need something here just to put it in the center of the box. So with place self, we have 2 different ways of centering. Center this way, the first center is vertical and the second center is horizontal. So now we can go left or center, and it's all just nicely aligned, okay? Nicely aligned, very responsive, a lot of stacking context. So to recap, we started with a very traditional way of using position absolute. Nothing wrong with that. That still works. It just has some downsides with the way that position absolute pulls stuff out of the natural order. So we would need a lot more breakpoints to handle that. Okay, the image and the text. Instead, we switched to something a little bit more advanced with display grid, which is responsive by default, but still gives us that stacking context. So a lot of questions on stacking context and what happens with position absolute versus transform versus the benefits of grid versus position absolute versus just how to make something really flexible. I can change this with a single line now. So lots of control there, lots of opportunities for interesting solutions. These aren't the only 2 solutions. They're just 2 of the more popular ones. And at least with grid, I think one of the better ones. So give it a try, see what you think. I'm interested to know your comments. This has been the Hero Challenge, the box centering challenge.